This demonstration is going to show you how to enter a tiny portion of the boat building facility into TEISS. And the portion we're going to enter is the molder line data. And that's where they take the boats and mold them into the shapes they want. And you'll see here that this area of the facility has one release point, and that's SV number 4. It has a control equipment of a bag house, and then it has the 4 molder emission units, and they're all going through the bag house and then out into the release points. So we're going to demonstrate how to enter that data structure into your TEISS project. So we're going to go into TEISS view now. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into input view or linear data entry. So we'll click on the input button and the linear data entry screen opens up, and it by default opens up into the point sources area. And that's where we want it to be because this boat building facility is a point source. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a location. And for this fictitious facility that I'm entering, I'm just going to pretend that it's in Coconino County. And remember, this is just a fake facility that I'm building just to show you how to enter point data into TEISS. When you actually enter your point data into TEISS, you don't want to enter it into a county, you want to enter it into your reservation, because those facilities are on your reservation and you want to keep that distinct from the county. But for demonstration purposes, I'm going to click Add, and I'm going to select Coconino County. But first, I've got to select the state. So I'll select Arizona. I just double click on it to select it. And now I will select the county. And Coconino is right here. You can either double click on it or you can click on it and then click select. And this is for you, when you're entering your data, you would not select the county, you would select the tribe instead. This is done, so we'll click OK. And the next thing we're going to do is we're going to enter the facility data for that boat building facility. And what facility data is just the basics about the facility, such as the address, the NAICS code, the latitude and longitude of the facility. So we'll go ahead and click on the facilities. Then we'll click the Add button, because this is a brand new facility that we're adding. So the Facility Data Entry tab pops up, and we want to enter data for sure in all of the green fields, because those are the mandatory fields. But you also want to fill in as much other information as you can, just to be really thorough about entering data. But for demonstration purposes, and since I have a limited amount of time, I'm only going to be entering data into the green fields, but I encourage you to enter data in all of these fields, especially these ones down here where it says data collected by and data collected from. Make sure you enter data in those for the people that review your TEISS project. I will enter the facility name. I'm going to call this facility the Boat Builders. And the identifier I'm going to assign to this facility is 01. And now most of the time when you're entering facility data, you're going to have to come up with this identifier, unless it's something like it's on a form or something and the facility has its own identifier. Most of the time you're going to be entering this yourself, so you can use any number system you want, whatever makes sense to you. What I've been doing for years is entering them as 01, 02, 03. If that works for you, you can use that system, or if you have some other internal identifying system that you want to use, you can use that here. The facility status code is the next mandatory field, and I'm going to select operating. Then we're going to enter the address. And I'm going to make this up. I'm going to put 123 Main Street. And for the address, you want to enter the physical address of the facility. You don't want to have some mailing address that's in another state or something like that. You want to have the actual physical address. If you don't know what the address is, it would be best to enter perhaps the intersection of the closest streets to that facility, if that's the closest you can get, and that would be acceptable for the address. The city I'm going to make up as anywhere, and I'm going to make up a postal code. Let's see, the next thing we want to enter is the NAICS code, and I'm going to use the search button to find the appropriate NAICS code. So we remember it's a boat building facility. So let's try to enter boat and click on the binoculars to search and see what comes up. Oh, we've got a ship and boat building. That would be perfect. So I will keep ship and boat building selected and click select. Now the latitude and longitude, I'm just making something up here, but when you enter your latitude and longitude for your facility, if you don't know that information already, you have some options. You can either take a GPS device out to the facility and record it with that. If you don't have a GPS device, you can use internet mapping service that includes latitude and longitude. And two of them that I am aware of is Google Maps and iTouch Maps. Those two would work for finding the latitude and longitude of a facility. So I'm going to scroll down here. That looks like that's all the data that I need to enter. So I'll click OK. And that facility information is now in TEISS. So the next thing we're going to add is the release point. So we'll click on the release point. And we will click Add. And you'll see by default, TEISS assigns an identifier number, but we want to use the identifier number that was on the slide. So we'll take a look at that slide. So the release point here is listed as SV number 4. So we'll go back into TEISS and we'll enter that. However, I don't want to use the number sign because that could cause issues. So I'm just going to put in SV4. And the release point type code for this, I'm just going to pretend that it's a vent, a downward facing vent. But for you, you really should know what kind of release point this is, but I'm just guessing for demonstration purposes that it's a vent. So I'm going to click that and click select. The release point status code is going to be operating. And that's all I need to enter. Oh, the stack parameters, I forgot about that. We do need to enter stack parameters. If you select anything but fugitive here, you need to enter your stack parameters. And that's something that you might have to get from the facility. And if you can't get it from the facility, you're going to have to do some estimations based on your best knowledge of what goes on at that facility. I'm going to enter these made-up guesses that I came up with for this facility. And I'm going to guess that the vent's about 25 feet up. And the diameter, I'm going to guess at 2.5 feet. The exit gas velocity and the exit gas flow rate, it says that both of them are required. However, you really only need to enter one of those. So I'm going to enter an exit gas velocity of 12 feet per second. And remember, watch your units here because you have the numbers in the metric units. You can enter them on this side. So I will enter an exit gas flow rate. And I'm going to guess that the exit gas temperature is just pretty much the same temperature of the air in the facility, which is about 75 degrees since it's coming out of a vent. So let's see if there's anything else we need to enter here. It looks like all of those are optional fields, so we'll go ahead and click OK and save this release point data.